Hello students, in last lecture we have seen what is meant by refrigerant. In today's lecture we will see the next part of automobile air conditioning systems. So in today's lecture we see what is meant by this refrigerant oils. Now since air conditioning system consists of a compressor and this compressor and other systems must be lubricated. If these systems are not lubricated, then what will happen? It will result into burnout of the moving parts. So this lubrication also is a big challenge in these systems. Now what type of this lubrication is there? There is a special kind of oil. We call it as a refrigerant oils. These are used for lubrication of these systems. Now this oil is carried by the refrigerant itself through various components. Okay, is often the only source of lubrication for the compressor. Now as the refrigerant is moving, it is moving to the different components in the systems. Along with this refrigerant, this oil is also going to move. Now the oil which is used, it should be properly able to mix with this refrigerant. If it is going to mix, then only it can properly go with refrigerant to various locations. And that property of the oil which can lead to mixing with the refrigerant, we call it as a miscible. Okay, these characteristics of being able to be mixed is called miscible, and these refrigerant oils are the miscibles. Okay, it mixes with the refrigerant. Now earlier one CFC12 was using the mineral oil. What is mineral oil? Mineral oil is the oil which we get from the petroleum products. It is a naturally occurring. But HFC 134A, it do not uses the mineral oil. The mineral oil is not miscible which HFC 134A, and for that we use synthetic oil, and that synthetic oil is polyalkyl glycol, and we call it PAG oil. This is miscible with 134A. There are numerous different PAG oils, and each vehicle manufacturer recommends which PAG to use. Now each manufacturer recommends its own brand of oil that is to be used with the refrigerant. Here these are the Chrysler Corporation. Okay, they are using this oil, that is Sun PAG 56. Okay, then there is different Chrysler Corporation that uses SP20, that is a compressor lubricant. So manufacturer recommends its own brand. Okay, now another type of refrigerant oil is called as a ester oil, a classification of hydrocarbons specified for use in air conditioning system that have been retrofitted from CFC12 to HFC 134A. Ester oil will mix with any remaining mineral oil and will work to lubricate the system even if some CFC12 is in the system. Now what happens? This one is the Ester 100. It is used in the system in which the first refrigerant was CFC12 and it is replaced by the another refrigerant, that is HFC 134A. In that case you have to use this Ester 100. So it is the main we can say a special property of this Ester 100 is it is compatible with the system which was using CFC 12 as the first refrigerant. Now they have replaced with the other refrigerant, that is HFC 134A. So this is the another important thing of this system. Now all refrigerant oil has the viscosity ratings. What is viscosity? Viscosity is the measure of the oil thickness or the resistance to flow. You have to always use the type and viscosity oil which is specified by the manufacturer. Then another important note you have to take down. Failure to use correct refrigerant oil in air conditioning system can cause serious, that is expensive damage to the air conditioning compressor. Always use refrigerant oil which is specified by the manufacturer. Now next important thing is the condenser. The condenser looks like a cooling system radiator because it is designed to radiate heat from the refrigerant to the outside air. We can say that the construction of the radiator is similar to that of a condenser, or you can say a condenser looks same like that of a radiator. When refrigerant leaves the compressor, it is at 300 degree Fahrenheit, that is around 150 degrees centigrade when it enters the condenser, and our atmosphere is at around 38 degree centigrade. So what is going to happen when it goes to the condenser? The condenser will uh, what will it do? Condenser, it will cool the refrigerant from 150 degree centigrade to 38 degree. It will take away the heat from the refrigerant and give this heat to the atmosphere. Okay. There is a difference in temperature between the outside air and the refrigerant which is inside the condenser as the heat travels from the hot to cool. Heat in the hot refrigerant radiates into the outside air. As heat travels into the air, high pressure gas refrigerant changes state and becomes high pressure liquid. This condenser condenses the refrigerant from a gas to a liquid. Now you have seen here what is happening. Heat is traveling from high pressure refrigerant to this atmosphere, and this takes place inside the condenser. Here you can see the system. Here is your compressor. From this compressor, high pressure refrigerant is flowing into this condenser. Now this condenser will give this heat to the atmosphere, and the refrigerant is converted into a liquid. Vapor is converted into liquid, and this liquid will be going to this receiver or the dryer. Okay, and from this dryer, this refrigerant, we can say the moisture from the liquid refrigerant is taken away by this dryer or the receiver, and this moisture free refrigerant will flow to the expansion valve, and from this expansion valve it will go to the evaporator, and from this evaporator it will go to this compressor. Now see here, there is this one is the, we can say, bulb. It senses the outlet temperature of the evaporator, and accordingly it causes the expansion valve to open or close. Now here This is the another system which uses the orifice tube. Now here you can see here from the compressor the vapor is going to the condenser. It gets converted into liquid refrigerant and flows to the orifice tube. And from this orifice tube to the evaporator. At the outlet of the evaporator there is an accumulator. This accumulator, it will take away the moisture from the refrigerant and it will supply low pressure vapors to the compressors. Okay, so here there is a, we can say, two systems. One is using the expansion valve and this system is using the orifice tube. The construction, how it is different, you can see in this diagram. Now another important thing is the broken lines. So this condenser, okay, the condenser is connected to the expansion valve or the orifice tube using the aluminum fittings. Sometimes there is a breakage of this aluminum fittings because aluminum is a rigid, it is not flexible and it breaks by certain shocks or vibrations. So you have to locate these fittings where there is a leakage. You have to repair the leakage. Okay, and if there is this leakage or we can say broken fittings, you have to check the engine mount. Okay, if there is the engine mount is not working properly, so the engine will cause or induce the vibrations in these systems, and these vibrations will cause the breakage of these aluminum lines. Whenever there is a breakage of such aluminum slice, aluminum coils or these lines, you have to also repair the engine mount. Okay. Next important thing is the evaporator. The evaporator looks like a small radiator and it is located inside the housing or in the passenger side. The evaporator transfers heat from the air to the refrigerant which is flowing through it, and this air it is to be circulated into passenger cabin. Heat from the air causes the low pressure liquid inside the evaporator to evaporated into low pressure gas. As the refrigerant changes state, it absorbs the heat. The blower motor with a squirrel cage fan circulates the air through the evaporator, and this air is forced the cooling air to flow into the passenger compartment. Okay, so this is the function of the evaporator. Now students, you can see here two systems. One is using this expansion valve and another system is using this orifice tube. So in this first system, as the air moves from this evaporator, the air gives away this heat to the refrigerant which is flowing in the evaporator. Due to which what happens, the air cools and this cooled air is supplied to the evaporator. Next thing what happens, the cooled air, the refrigerant, as the refrigerant it takes the heat from this air, it gets converted into vapors. Okay, now these vapors are going to this condenser. The condenser, so not going into, it is going to the compressor. Sorry, the compressor compresses these vapors from the evaporator. As these vapors are compressed, the vapors get converted into the high pressure vapors, low pressure vapors to the high pressure vapors. Now this high pressure vapors, it is supplied to this condenser. The condenser cools the high pressure vapors, and it also converts the high pressure vapor into high pressure liquid by changing the phase of the refrigerant. Then this high pressure liquid goes to the receiver or the dryer, which takes away the moisture which is present into the refrigerant, and it supplies to the expansion valve. The expansion valve reduces the pressure of this liquid refrigerant to low pressure liquid, and this low pressure liquid is supplied to the evaporator, and the cycle repeats again. Now this is the system. This uses the orifice tube instead of the expansion valve. In this system, as the air goes into the on the evaporator, the air cools, and that cooled air is supplied to the passenger cabin. The heat from the air is taken by this refrigerant, and due to which the refrigerant gets converted into low pressure vapors. These low pressure vapors are supplied to this accumulator. The accumulator takes away the moisture which is present inside this refrigerant and supplies moisture free low pressure vapors to the compressor. The compressor compresses the low pressure vapor to high pressure vapors, which are supplied to this condenser. The condenser condenses the high pressure vapors from the compressor to high pressure liquid, and this liquid is transferred to the orifice tube. The orifice tube causes the conversion of high pressure refrigerant to low pressure refrigerant liquid, and which is supplied to the evaporator. Now this evaporator converts the this low pressure liquid into low pressure vapor, okay, by giving this heat by taking the heat from the air, and the cycle again repeats in the similar fashion. Now next important thing is the receiver or the dryer. A receiver dryer, which is used on air conditioning system with an expansion valve, is located between the condenser and the evaporator. We have seen in the earlier diagram. This section of the air conditioning system contains a high pressure liquid refrigerant. The receiver provides temporary storage for the liquid refrigerant, and it includes a debris filter and a desiccant to remove the moisture. Many receiver dryer contains a slide glass that provides a view of refrigerant which is in the system. A dryer is needed to remove moisture from the system. The dryer contains a desiccant, that is a silica alumina or silica gel, a drying agent that absorbs any moisture, that is water, in the air conditioning refrigerant system. This moisture can combine with the refrigerant to form an acid. That is why this moisture should be removed. Water can also freeze and form the ice in the system. That is why this moisture is removed from the system by this receiver or the dryer. Now next important thing is the desiccant. The desiccant is classified as capital EXH5 for CFC12 and capital EXH7 or EXH9 for HFC134A. Desiccant used on a CFC12 system is not compatible with that of a HFC134A system. The desiccant should also be replaced on any air conditioning system that has left open to atmosphere for any length of time over 24 hours, or whenever the system has left in a discharge condition. So we have to replace this desiccant when we have opened this system for a very long time and which is open to the atmosphere. Here you can see here, this one is the receiver dryer in case of this expansion valve system. It takes the vapor inlet. Okay, this filter pad, okay, the filter pad removes any foreign particle, and this desiccant removes the moisture, and then it supplies this from this tubing. This is the tube, inside tube. From this tube it goes to the outlet. From this there is a simple glass here. This glass you can see here the condition of the refrigerant. This is used in the expansion type of system. Okay, and this is used on the high side. Okay, so where it is used on the high side means at the outlet of the, we can say, compressor. Now this system is used in the orifice type at the low side means at the outlet of the evaporator. So inlet from the evaporator, it goes from these tubings. Okay, here is the desiccant packs to take away the moisture, and this oil return, oil is used. Any oil which is there in the system can return from this line. Okay, any moisture which is present is taken by this desiccant bag. Here there is a hole. Okay, the hole is provided so that the water particles or moisture particles are absorbed, and only the refrigerant will go to the compressor. Okay, now next important thing is the accumulator. An accumulator is used in the orifice tube type of a system, and it is located between evaporator and the compressor. Refrigerant in this section of the cycle is a low pressure gas, and the purpose of the accumulator are preventing liquid refrigerant from reaching the compressor, holding the reserve for refrigerant, and holding the desiccant which is used for remove the moisture. Now take an important note, a liquid cannot be compressed, therefore the liquid which is entering the compressor must be removed, otherwise it would cause the lockup or damage of the system. You can see here there is an accumulator, evaporator. From the evaporator, liquid refrigerant is entering into the accumulator, which removes the moisture, excess moisture from the refrigerant, and it also acts as a reservoir of refrigerant, and then this refrigerant is going to the compressor. Now the refrigerant lines and hoses. Now aluminum tubing are used for connecting the stationary items like condenser to the receiver and receiver dryer to the evaporator, and rubber lines are used, okay, to connect from the compressor because it is attached to the engine, and this compressor is not a stationary, it is a moving part. So what happens, the rubber lines are used for the compressor. There is a movement between the compressor and air conditioning component. The rubber line provides this flexibility. Okay, now flexible refrigerant hoses are constructed from many layers of rubber and fabric. Hoses are used on vehicles since early 90s. Non-permeable inside layer that prevents loss of refrigerant and called as a barrier hoses. Now they are used with HFC 134A refrigerants. In this diagram you can see here, this is a compressor. This compressor is connected with the flexible hoses, the radiator which is connected with the dryer with the, we can say, rigid lines. These are the rigid lines which are used for the stationary types of these components, and this compressor which is a moving, which is connected to the engine and it is moving, that is why we have to connect this with the flexible hoses. Okay, so today in this session we have seen what is meant by this accumulator, receiver, dryer, condenser and this evaporator. Okay, these are the important system of the air conditioning system. If you find any doubt, you can message me on my WhatsApp number. So thank you in the thank you for today's session.